So in this case, we are going to consider our transformation, still on the transformation geometry, working now with a reflection. It is important that we do understand the basics that we have in our transformations before we look into the question papers, because that will be our next class, working with question papers. A transformation can happen, like I said before in our previous class, that we can have a transformation of a point. But this time we are considering reflecting that point or the shape that you are given. This is a reflection that you are now having. The best way that you can put into a reflection is the idea of a mirror. Remember, a mirror. Okay. So let's say we have this one as our mirror, which in mathematics we consider it as the mirror line. The mirror line, the one that is going to map the object to its image. If A is on this side of the mirror, because this is in between, to say the mirror is here, the mirror line, object is on the other hand, the image will be on the other hand. So take note, if A is on this side, you are going to find its image on the other side. This is where we are going to have the image of A. Object to its image. This is across what? The mirror line. This is our mirror line. If A was this side, it means its image will be found on the other side. It will be reflected on the other side. That's a condition of a reflection. If you consider maybe we've got a horizontal mirror line like this, if A is on this side, its image will be found on the other side. You won't have a condition that A is here, then its image is also there, the same size, same side. No, it's impossible for a reflection. So this type of a reflection that is happening, you are going to notice that as the line is being transformed from where it is from A to A1, it is moving in a straight line, in a straight line to where it is. So if you consider maybe this is the x-axis, let's just say this is our x-axis. You transform a point A, let's say our point A is given as 5, 2. You transform it. So what it means is that this point is going to move straight going down. And the number of units that it is going to move from this point A to the mirror line. Remember, this is your mirror line. It is the same distance that it is going to move from the mirror line to the image. It is going to move same distance. Same distance. So you are going to notice that, guys, in an actual sense, the value that is of x, when it is like this, because this is a vertical line, the value of x is not going to change. It is going to remain as it is. You are still under the same x. Remember, a vertical line, x is the same. So x there is not going to change. It is the y value that we are going to notice on the, as it was, because it moved the same distance. So if it was a positive 2 on top, we are going to move same distance going down. So it is going to be what? A negative 2 going down. So what is it that happened? The x did not change. It is y which changed from a positive to a negative. Positive to negative. So if you understand these guys, like, it's only that they removed this part, we could have had a lot of it from our grade 8, but they remove some of these. So only start with this one now, grade 9. But that is the idea there of reflection. So if it was across, let's say we are working with the y-axis, you were going to notice both it is moving in a horizontal line like this. So you're going to notice something that the x value is going to change. If it is maybe a certain point here, the x is going to carry a negative. If it was a negative, it means it has to change to be a positive. If it was a positive, it has to change to be a negative. So this all calls for the rule that we can use so that in all these, well, there are so many things that we can actually learn about this transformation. A lot. So without wasting much time, I need us to just consider the general rules. Okay, so what will be the general rules of our reflection? So the first one, it can be a reflection about the x-axis. It has, remember your Cartesian plan, the x-axis, y-axis. It can be in the line of y is equal to x. It can be in the line of y is equal to minus x. So we need to know all these from the x-axis. Remember the x-axis, the equation of the x-axis, I said it is what? Y is equal to 0. The y-axis, its equation, I said is what? X is equal to 0. So about the x-axis, as you consider about the x-axis, you are considering about the line y is equal to 0. So this is what I want you to note, guys, because of time. Some of you are already writing. Yes, some of you still have some time for the preparations of your examinations, but just for the sake of time. About the x-axis, it means x is not affected. X does not change. X does not change, meaning to say x is invariant, not affected. It is not affected at that moment. So once you know this, guys, what is about that x? You know that, okay, at that moment, x is not affected, x-axis. So that is going to help you to know that the rule is going to be given, let's say it's a, which is given as xy like this, to its image of a reflection about the x-axis. X is not affected, meaning to say x is going to remain as x. It is y which is affected, as we saw that when it is a positive, it will change to be a minus. So you multiply the y value. It is the y value that is going to be affected, that is going to change. E.g., for an example, the point A is given as a 3, 2. If we are told that it's a reflection about the x-axis, we can tell its image. X will remain as x. So it will be 3. The y value is the one that will be affected. This y value, you multiply it by 2. So it will be minus times 2, which is minus 2. So you can even write the image. You can even write the image given the object. This is about the x-axis. It can be about the y-axis. All right, so it can be about the y-axis. About the y-axis. Remember, in the y-axis, it is x, which is equal to 0. So they can say about the line, x is equal to 0. Y-axis, just like what we had. X is not affected. So this time we are working with that y-axis. So it means the y value is not affected. Y does not change. Y does not change. Meaning to say y is what? Is invariant. Meaning to say x is invariant there. Y is invariant. It is not affected at that moment. It is not affected. It is the x value. So therefore, what is going to be the rule of changing the object A given as xy to its image? The rule is going to be given by xy like this. Remember, we said y does not change. So the y value it is just going to remain as a y. It is y like this. It is the x which is affected. As we saw, reflection, it is all about a minus. If it is a positive, it will change to a minus. That's the part of reflection, guys. It's all about a minus thing. Okay? If it is x being positive to its image there, you have it as a negative. This is about what? The y-axis. So e.g., for an example, you're given the point A, which is referred as 3, 2. What is going to be the image of this point about the y-axis? So y is not affected this time. So y is going to remain as it is, as a 2. It is x which is going to change to a minus. So the x value will be multiplied by a minus, so it will be minus 3. So the object, the image, so this will be the image of what? The image of A. Image. From the object to its what? To its image. So you have to be very careful in that presentation. What is it that is affected? So this can also happen in the y, in these two lines. Like I said, in the line y is equal to x, they can ask you that. So that they can ask you that in the line of y is equal to x, another one that they need you to know in your syllabus. So we also need to know about a reflection in the line y is equal to x. In the line y is equal to x. The line y is equal to x is the one that has got a positive gradient dividing our graph into two equal parts, having a positive slope, a positive gradient like this, dividing our graph into two equal parts. So that's the line of y is equal to x. So you are going to notice that in the reflection of the line y is equal to x, you are going to notice, let's say there's a point here which is A and there. The point is going to move a certain distance to the line, which is our mirror line. This is y is equal to x is your mirror line. Then form a 90 degrees going the other way to its image, which is called A1. It is no longer moving straight like what we saw when we're dealing with the x-axis and the y-axis. This time it forms a right angle, then goes the other way. So as it does this, you are going to notice that it is just an interchange of values. The values that we was representing x this side will be representing y on the other side. So the rule therefore states that if you are given A as x, y like this, its image, you just have to interchange those values that we had. So if it is xy, it is going to be given as yx, meaning to say interchange x and y values. X and y. Just have to interchange x and y. That is the condition. So for an example, let's say we are given the point A. Maybe there's a point A there, which is 2, 5. From that point A, which is 2, 5. Its image, once it is a reflection in the line y is equal to x, guys. Once we are talking about the line y is equal to x, these will interchange. Remember, this is x, this is y. Here we are going to start with y followed by x. So what is the y there? Y is what? Y is 5. What about x? X is 2. So the point, which is its image of A, is going to be given as 5, 2. That will be the image. You interchange. So by knowing this, guys, transformation you can transform any point. You can actually understand anything about this reflection, any point. You just need to know the rule that you're having because of time. Like I said, we just need to gonna. All right. So you see this network, guys. All right, no problem. So like I was saying, you need to focus with the rule that you are given there, so that the image can be determined or can be obtained. In this case, I'm just gonna consider one or two questions. I'm not gonna talk much in this part that we are having. The question there was, we're just gonna consider this part, the first part here. Yeah. We were given in this case that A, B, and C, these are points. The coordinates of the vertices of triangle ABC. These are the points that you're given. A, if the rule of the transformation is, if the rule of transformation is xy 2 minus xy like this. Okay, the first thing by just being given, told that you are already there, they've already told you the rule. Minus x, y, like which transformation is this? Where x changes to a minus and the y value remains as it is. Y is not affected. Y does not change. Y is not affected. That's a reflection in the y-axis. You're talking about a reflection there. In the what? In the y-axis. In the y-axis. About the y-axis. So if this is a reflection about the y-axis, we can tell where the image is going to be. But there they are saying state the transformation and indicate the coordinates of the vertices. So this is a reflection that is stating the transformation. We saw, guys, here. Where is it that x is going to be a minus x? Y remains as a y. That's a reflection about the y-axis. So knowing this is important, you see, guys. Then they want you to indicate the coordinates of what? The vertices of triangle. These are images A bar, B bar, C bar, like that. Meaning to say they want you to indicate the image of each from A to C. So what is going to be the, guys, this is the direct, the image of A. Remember the rule is saying X becomes what? A minus. Y remains as it is. So from this X, this one, it was a minus. You multiplied by a minus. It was a minus there. You multiplied by minus. So minus times minus what? That's a positive. Y is not affected. You move on to another one, which is the image of B. Minus 6, just like what we had, minus times minus, that was going to give you a positive. But the Y value is not affected. Remember, Y is not affected. And the image, you move on to the image of C, minus 2. It was a minus, so minus times minus, that's what? A positive. The Y value is not affected. Y is not affected. So these are the coordinates that you're going to have. And if you're to mark these coordinates, you're going to have a triangle. A, which is 6, 5. So you can even mark these points, 6 here in X, then Y in 5. That's 6, 5 is going to meet there. You mark your point. So that's our point A, which is 6, 5. All right, that's the image of A. Then B, the image of B is 6, 2. X is 6, Y is 2. There it's going to meet the 2 for Y and the 6 for the X. They meet at this point. So that's the image of what? Image of B. The image of C, which is 2, 5. X is 2. Y is 5. Like this, they meet at that point. So where they meet here, 2 versus 5, that was going to meet here, which is C1. That's the image, which is C bar, like that. All right. So with this, you can draw using your ruler. That's going to be your triangle at the end. This is the triangle representing the image of this triangle under a reflection of the y-axis. So it could have been, we could have done this by movement. Could have been by movement. But we can also do this by what? A calculation. We have these images, this and that. All right. So that was a reflection in the what? In the y-axis, as we saw that y is not affected. B, if we are to consider this, they are saying if the rule of the transformation is x to x, y to minus y, as we can see, y is being affected this time. It is x, which is not x, remains as x. State the type of transformation and what indicate. So what is the type of transformation where x is not affected? That's a reflection. About what? The x-axis. What is not affected is the one about the x-axis. About the x-axis. So it's a reflection about the x-axis. And we need the coordinate. So even if you don't understand, but the rule, even if you don't understand, try to understand the rule on its own. XY is going to give us x minus, what does it mean? X remains as it is, but the y value is going to change to a minus, meaning to say every y value is going to be affected by what? By a minus. By a minus. So meaning to say, let's consider these, all right? So this is B. So the image of A, as you can see this time, there are two bars there. So the image of A was going to be what? X is not affected, remember, on the image. X remains as it is. So the X is minus 6. It is the Y value, which is now being multiplied by minus from Y to minus Y. So this 5, you multiply it by a negative. You multiply it by a negative, it will be minus 5. So the 5 is going to change to minus 5. You move on to the point B. Its image, you do the same thing on this part of our B to find its image. Remember the X not affected. So on B, the X will remain as minus 6. It is the Y value which we are going to multiply by what? A negative. It was a 2 originally, so we multiply it by a minus. So minus times 2 is what? That will be minus 2. So the Y value will be minus 2. And the same thing on the point C, we do the same thing. On the point C, the X value is not affected. That's a minus 2. It is the Y value, a 5. You multiply it by minus, so it will be minus 5. So these are the coordinates that we are going to have for the image of what? The image of A, the image of B, the image of C under this rule that we are now given, X minus Y. XY to X minus Y. X is not, X does not change this one. X, it was minus 6, it's minus 6. It was minus 6, it's minus 6. It was minus 2, it's minus 2. It is the Y value which we are multiplying by negative this time. So after that, we can even draw our triangle by what? Marking this, but in this case, they just want to state the coordinates. So these are the coordinates that we're going to have for the image. So transformations it can be anything. It can be for this one about what? Reflection in the line of Y is equal to X. It can be like that. There you interchange the value. So if you are given the point, maybe it's minus 3, minus 4 like this. In the line Y is equal to X. You just interchange the points there. So it will be minus 4, 3. It will be minus 4, minus 3. Like you interchange those points. A reflection in the Y-axis, X is multiplied by a minus. Y does not change. About the X-axis, X is not affected there. If it is about the X-axis, X is not affected there. X is not affected. It is Y which is affected. So I want you to do as many questions as you can. Like I said, we're going to bring you guys question papers to revise all these transformations so that you can be able to understand how questions are given as we are doing our revisions for the exams which are ahead of time.